there was a company that I went for a job interview many years ago. They flew me to somewhere in Alberta. It was either Edmonton or Calgary. I can't remember anymore. And I had to do, I did sort of the job interview with like the owners of the company and the CEO and their female chief accountant. Like, I don't know if there was a CFO or just a controller, whatever they were at this meeting. And they asked me a question about the accounting side of things. They said, like, when you operate, how do you do your budgets or something? And I said, oh, I do them this way. And they said, that's crap. You can't do budgets that way. No one has ever done a budget that way. It's impossible to do a budget that way. And I said, well, I'm very sorry to disagree with you, but I beg to differ on that. This is how I've been doing it for years. I learned it from the individual who owned a bunch of companies, who was my boss. You know, he did it this way. I kind of learned a lot of things from him. And as I understand, the reason why they do it this way is to enable this and this. And they said, that's crap. You're either lying or that like doesn't make any sense. So needless to say, I didn't get the job, but they were wrong. It's like, no, we do it that way. It's just that we're in a different industry and we have slightly different needs, and you do it this way for some valid reasons. But I've encountered that too, where people just, you know, they haven't seen it, therefore it can't happen, right? You got to love people like that. And that's one of the reasons I'm a little biased against accountants. I feel that they are can't-do people that just accept trade-offs without questioning them. They accept status quo without questioning it. And they have no imagination to imagine alternate ways of doing things and how to solve problems. I'm an engineer. We are the opposite of accountants. We are paid to think outside the box and come up with things that have never been done before to solve problems, instead of just accepting the problems as something that can't be solved, right? So I've encountered that. Now, I would be lying to you if I said, like, I knew how to change that person's mind. Because if I worked in the same organization as them and I had the resources to do this, I would demonstrate it in front of them. That's how you change their mind. You don't talk about it and argue. You show them, like, here, this, like, let me show you what that looks like. And that you might have to go to great lengths to convince the person, but that's how you convince them. There's no other way, right? Their mind is made up that it can't be done. It's impossible. And you just can't explain. There's nothing you can say that will convince them that they're wrong. Okay. So I don't know how to do that in a job interview. You can't demonstrate anything in a job interview unless you brought like some kind of physical thing or demonstration with you. Maybe if you made yourself a diorama, if you have a young daughter and she made you a diorama with construction paper and sprinkles and paste, you can maybe bring that to the job interview and clue in these morons about how wrong they are. I don't know. I don't know how to solve that. But all I can say to you is that there's plenty of fish in the sea. For every complete blithering idiot that you encounter in a job interview, there's a lot of other people that aren't. So forget about these people and focus on moving ahead to talk to other people that don't have their head up their ass, okay? If I can put it so poetically. That's what you should focus on, in my opinion. When you're young, it's easy to have your confidence rattled by an encounter with an idiot like this. Just know this, you know, you're awesome and you're highly valuable, you're highly employable, and you've done it. You know, no one can convince you it didn't happen because you've done it. So just remember that. If this person challenges you on it, they're a moron. And if they refuse to accept anything, they're a sheltered moron. So move on to the people that actually have a clue, and then maybe good things will come. If you can convince this person, you know, the fact that they're allowed to make decisions like that at that organization, that suggests that it might not be a good place to work anyway, so don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You don't have to change anything. You don't have to revise your story. You don't have to be afraid to tell your true story about what you achieved. Now, if you find that whenever you tell that story, you always get the same reaction, people don't believe you, then maybe you can adjust your sort of story. You could say, you could choose not to come out with these claims that it seems a lot of people doubt or they think is too bold. You know, instead say something that maybe they can accept, but you would need to see that same reaction from a bunch of people all in a row. in order for you to change your story. Okay? Don't just base it on one idiot, one anecdotal thing. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense.